Hey guys, gotta say I'm a little disappointed. I'm here at Danon, and every time I come here, they always have a refrigerator full of yogurt that you can grab for free, and I usually stock up my refrigerator with it. But they're all out. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. I want my free yogurt. I've been reading about some of this issue, what's been going on with the smuggling case in San Antonio, Texas, where the driver pulling a pile refrigerated trailer, PYLE, that's the name of the company, said that, well, he was pulling it from Iowa down to Brownsville, Texas. And I've been to Brownsville quite a few times. It's right there on the border. I mean, it's a border city. It's right on the border. He was taking apparently a trailer that he knew was defective. Something was wrong with the refrigerant system. It was a reefer trailer. Something was wrong with the refrigerant system, and he was taking it down to Brownsville for, I don't know, whatever reason. Like I said, he started in Iowa, and they're calling this a human smuggling case. There's a lot of red flags in this for me. There really are. It's weird. I don't really understand it. If one thing that I think kind of maybe obviously it looks bad on the driver, is after he supposedly realized that his trailer was full of immigrants and noticed that there were several dead already, instead of calling 911, he called his wife, which, bad move. Very bad move. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if he panicked and called his wife. I mean, if he wasn't actually in on it, I don't know. But I've heard, I've heard a lot of things about what happened there, and I've heard a lot of opinions. I lost my train of thought. Thought he was going to come talk to me. Maybe he is. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. That was a waste. Let me just restart this. Alright, what I was saying was... Where was I? That was kind of weird. The guy... Apparently there was something in the way of the dock door when I backed in. The locking pin wasn't all the way recessed, I guess. So when I backed in and I thought I was pressed up against the door, I actually wasn't. I was still, like so far away from the door, so they had to fix that for me so I could get up against the door. Anyway, what I was saying was about the whole smuggling incident. There's some red flags with it, or about it for me. I don't know if the guy's innocent. I don't know if he's guilty. He sure as hell seems guilty. I'm not going to lie to you. He seems very guilty. But it's kind of strange. He was pulling a reefer trailer, which reefer trailers, I'll say this, reefer trailers have much thicker walls. So it's a lot harder. If somebody's inside pounding on the door or on the side, it's a lot harder to hear. If they're screaming from the inside, it's a lot harder to hear. I'm not saying it'd be impossible, but if he's driving down the road, he's not going to hear it. It's not like a dry van where it's just wood paneling, and a little bit of aluminum to cover up the wood paneling, basically. No, I mean, these are thick walls to hold in the cold air and make them as efficient as possible. They're insulated, they're heavy. Same with the doors. And if you pound on the side of one of these reefer trailers, and then you pound on the side of a dry van, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're just so much sturdier, and they're just a much heavier, more sturdily built trailer. So I can understand if he didn't hear anything going down the road, but he did say he heard, when he got out, he heard knocking, when he got out to go to the bathroom. So, there's that. which, you know, if he stopped and he shut his engine off, then I'm sure he probably could hear it when he got out. Now, one problem I have with it is, even if I'm picking up an empty trailer, I check the back. I make sure I open the back up, I look inside, I make sure it's clean, I make sure that I'm not picking up the wrong trailer. You know, I don't want to go somewhere and be told to pick up an empty trailer and then not even look in the back and take it, you know, deadhead 100, 150 miles to a shipper and find out that there's actually a couple skids in there. You know, so, you know, I like to make sure it's completely empty before I actually take it. I don't like to take anybody's word on it. So that's kind of weird. If he's a seasoned truck driver, which at 60 years old, I'd imagine he's not just getting into truck driving. That's pretty, you know, I mean, unless he's desperate, I don't think he's actually just getting into truck driving. And the fact that he had a really nice custom Peterbilt. You know, new drivers don't go out and buy brand, or not, I don't know if it's brand new or not, but they don't go out and buy custom built Peterbilts as their first truck. I don't think he was a new truck driver, so I'm sure as a seasoned driver, he knew to open the doors up and look in the back to make sure that there wasn't anything in there before he left. So, you know, that right there is a strike against him. Now, as far as the one thing I don't understand about this, it's a smuggling case, right? So why would they be smuggling immigrants back down to the Texas border from Iowa? You know, I've looked and I haven't found anything, I haven't read anything that suggests why they would have been going south from Iowa instead of north from the Texas border, or from the Mexican border, or just going north in general. It doesn't make sense to me why they'd be going south. So that's a pretty big red flag on my part. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not an investigator. I'm sure they'll dig into it. I was reading, you know, online, you know, you've got the keyboard warriors that, you know, voice their opinion no matter how clueless they might be, and they think that they think they're God's answer to truck driving, and, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, what kind of idiot doesn't check the back of his trailer? And then people would respond with, well, apparently you've never done a drop and hook because the trailer's already sealed, and if the trailer's already sealed, you can't look in the back of the trailer. It's against the law. You can't break the seal and look in the back. You just have to hope that the load is secure as you're going down the road, and when you get to the receiver, to the consignee, if the skids are falling over by the time you get there, well, you know, you have proof that it was sealed when you picked it up, and it's not your fault. It's not your problem, you know. So I got on board with that group for a little bit, thinking, well, yeah, I mean, if the trailer was sealed, then of course you wouldn't have looked in the back. But then as I'm reading more into it, he wasn't picking up a loaded trailer. He was picking up a trailer that had defects, and at least from what I read, from what I understood, he wasn't picking up a loaded trailer. So, you know, it wasn't going to have a seal on it. And of course, and the more I read into it too, I mean, I would imagine that it would have pointed out when he went to the Walmart and opened up the back of the trailer. You know, these news agencies, the media likes to be pretty detailed, whether they are swaying for or against the truth. They like to be pretty detailed, and they would have mentioned that it was sealed, I would imagine. They would have mentioned that he broke the seal to open up the door to see what was in there. So apparently there wasn't a seal on that door. I'm gonna venture a 90% wager to say it wasn't sealed. So he very well should have opened that door up before he left Iowa, where he picked it up at, to make sure that it was the way it was supposed to be. So I don't know. It's a tricky situation. It's hard to say for sure. And then you know, you have these idiots that are actually wanting to blame or put some blame on the company that sold him this custom Peterbilt. The company that customized the Peterbilt, they want charges brought against that company for selling this guy the Peterbilt, as if they even knew what this guy's intentions were. I mean, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. It's the same thing as when these damn liberals say that gun manufacturers should be held responsible when somebody is shot and killed in anything other than a self-defense case. It's, you know, I will use this analogy until I'm blue in the face, but they just don't get it. The analogy is, then let's sue Budweiser because somebody got in their car and drove drunk and got in an accident and killed somebody. Or let's sue the auto manufacturer of the company of the car he was driving. If he was driving a Ford, let's sue Ford because he drove the Ford. Let's sue Ford and Budweiser because he drove drunk. He drove a Ford drunk under Budweiser. So therefore, it's Ford's and Budweiser's fault that this guy decided to get into a car and drive illegally. I don't understand the logic some of these dumbasses on the left have. Not everybody on the left is a dumbass. I don't want to make this into a political rant. Not everybody on the left is a dumbass. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of dumbasses on the right too, you know, but for different reasons. And this is one of those reasons that the people on the far left are dumbasses in some cases. They want to blame the manufacturer. It's not the manufacturer's fault. It's not the dealer's fault that sold this guy the truck. They didn't, you know, they don't, it's not any of their business what the guy does. He could buy the truck as a daily driver and just, you know, it could be his grocery getter for all, you know, for all they care. You know, he may just want to drive it around as a grocery getter. So, I don't know. It's such a stupid thing to even, it's so stupid to even mention that the dealership or the place that customized the Peterbilt should be at all liable for this. It's so retarded. I know that's a politically incorrect term, but whatever. Whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here and wait for this load to get done. I really wish I had some yogurt to have to eat right now, but they don't have any yogurt inside. What the hell kind of bull crap is that? Hey guys, we'll see you later. Be safe out there. And that was just my opinion on the whole matter. If I ruffled any feathers, I apologize. Not really. See you later.